Expedia and Visit Scotland invite you to come experience the beauty that awaits in Scotland. The sweep of wild coastlines, quiet lochs, and untamed landscapes. Fresh cuisine that feels rooted in the land. Come experience the kind of stillness that stays with you long after you leave. Plan your Scottish escape today at expedia.com/visit Scotland.
Blowing ad budget on metrics that look great till the CFO sees them. That's bull spend. And marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
I remember telling my boss, it'll be good for the brand, when leads were slow. Yeah, it wasn't.
Cut the bull spend. LinkedIn lets you target by company, job title, and more. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
So anyway, thanks for joining us. Where are you guys located? You're up in Canada somewhere?
Yeah, Toronto.
Oh, okay. So not too far. I'm in Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, nice, man. Right on. Home of Lamb of God.
Yeah, municipal waste,
Sick,
cannabis
sick.
corpse, guar. Yeah, we got a little metal history here, I guess.
Yeah, only a little.
So your album is due out, what, in like 3 days, 4 days?
Yeah, it's coming out on Friday.
Now that it's done and complete, how do you feel about it? And are you satisfied with the outcome?
Totally satisfied. It was a long process as it always is, recording and just so many changes and everything took long, but I think the final product, yeah, it's great. I feel so good about it. I'm really happy with it. And to finally have the release coming up, because there's even the time between when the recording is done and just the time between that and the actual release date is so long, because to do the proper PR and have everything in place. So it's like, yeah, finally it's here and it feels good.
What's been the early on response to it? It's been pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay. We've had some early reviews coming out, and for the most part, pretty good. It's not for everybody. So it's especially because this album is taking a little bit of a different turn. We're leaning a little bit more towards a hard rock kind of sound,
Mhm.
and so moving away from the new wave of traditional heavy metal thing a little bit. So although all those hardcore kind of, media and stuff, it's like, okay, maybe it's not exactly what they were expecting, but yeah, we've had some good feedback.
Does that concern you at all? Like when you were writing this, were you concerned, hey, some of my fans might not, or some of our fans might not take the journey?
I mean, it dawned on me, but it's like I can't really take that into consideration because it's like, yeah, in the end, I'm writing it for myself. I'm putting my own personality into it, and it's kind of like the after a moment, the journey of the music just, it goes on its own, and you just have to like let it be. So in the beginning, you don't really know where it's going to end up, and then like the music kind of takes you there. So that's where we've ended up, and it's like, okay, maybe a different place than people were thinking, but that's where we are.
Okay. So Bleed For It blends hair metal, heavy metal, and rock opera dramas. How did you decide where the riffs end and the storytelling begins?
Yeah, so I mean, the music came first. We write the melodies first, and then Johnny Nesta lays down the guitar riffs on top of that, and the whole rock opera thing and the concept of the story actually came afterwards when I had the idea to, oh, it would be really cool to do a musical. And we had that opportunity, thankfully, last summer because of the Toronto Fringe Festival. We got in and we did a 5 show run of the musical. So it was huge, but like yeah, we pulled it off. So I got a director, got a choreographer, full cast, and then we had the full live band, so full production musical. And so that's where the story element came in, and we developed the story from the songs and from the lyrics, and you can see it in the album cover also. It's just like the different elements of the story, are all depicted there.
How great was that to see it like come to fruition on stage?
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, like always wanted to be part of a musical and never had the opportunity, so I just had to do it all myself, which kind of lines up because I'm a very DIY person, so that was the path for me and it felt right and I'm glad we pulled it off. I'm hoping that we get another run at it, and get to do it up even bigger with
Right.
some more budget behind it, but let's see.
The story is set like in an alternative 1992 with bikers, love triangles, and rival gangs, right? So, what made that era feel like the perfect backdrop for this kind of music or chaos or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, I think for me it's a very personal thing. I think when I think about when I first got into music and really fell in love with that whole fantasy of the journey and being in a band and everything was around 1992 for me. I was just a kid and and then I was thinking, "Oh, I would love to incorporate that year, but like in an alternate universe kind of thing." So like none of the laws of time or anything apply. Like you're in a different planet, you're in a different place and these characters and whatever. So it felt right. I wanted to incorporate the feel of the music back then and then like, apply it because I think that is present in Thunderer's music. So I wanted to show that in also in the story. It's like, oh, okay, these are like back in the 90s, but somewhere else.
Okay. So, Kate Breton, Home, and Streets of Fire bring real emotional weight to the record, right? Are those moments pulled from real life or pure fiction serving the story?
Yeah, well, Cape Breton home is so I'm from Cape Breton originally, and down east, which is part of Nova Scotia,
Okay.
here in
Yeah.
Canada. So that was a kind of a tribute for me to back home. I left home when I was 18, and I've always been wanting to come full circle with that. So I really wanted to write a song about back home and incorporate like the fiddle playing elements because Celtic music is really big back there. So yeah, that's the reasoning behind that song. Streets of Fire is uh, inspired by the film Streets of Fire, but it was actually I never saw the film until way later, but I was inspired by the I was at a movie. There's this movie theater here. They play old movies, and it's like an old style theater, and you go and they play old trailers also. So I was going to see like, well, yeah, I was going to see like whatever it was, some old movie, and they played the trailer for Streets of Fire, and I was like, what the hell is this, man? This looks amazing. I've never even heard of this movie, but the soundtrack was amazing, and I found out later it's Jim Steinman who did all the Meatloaf stuff. He wrote yeah, and now that was a huge influence for me. So like a lot of things were just hitting there, and then the title just sparked something in my head. I was like, oh, I want to write a song about Streets of Fire, but like what it means to me in my head, not what it means in the movie, because I had never seen it. So yeah, that's that.
You ever feel like you put too much of yourself into your songs? Too vulnerable?
No, I don't think there's such thing, man. I think you kind of have to do that. I mean, for me anyway, I think it's about putting those emotions in and then hopefully they translate with the listeners, if they can feel, kind of or get a sense of your world and feel what you're feeling, then I think that's kind of mission accomplished for me. So I try and put as much as I can into it.
Feeling what you're feeling, though, could be something completely 180 degrees from what you originally thought, right? When you were writing it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I guess lyrically you kind of have your themes that, it's like, okay, when you're writing the lyrics, I kind of want it to be about this, or it's like, oh, okay, there's going to be some love elements in here,
Right.
and then also some adventure. So I think I mean, for sure, you can, everyone's going to interpret it, lyrics differently, especially when they're a little bit more vague. So naturally, you kind of like apply them to yourself or whatever it is. But I think for the most part, I mean, you kind of get the gist of like, oh, what Thunderer's kind of world is about. It's just like going it out on an adventure and there's some love and danger and all that cheesy kind of stuff.
Did you called this your most mature writing to date? Is that something you've been like working on the whole time or how
I think it comes with time, right? So the first album, 2022, was my first attempt at writing full songs, as being primarily a drummer. Okay, I was used to writing drum parts, song arrangements, but like never writing like vocal melodies or chord structures and things like that. So it's kind of whole different world, you know. And I think, okay, now, whatever, 4 or 5 years later, it's just like everything develops over time. So it's like you get more of a feeling for it. And yeah, so it's definitely matured. I think the songs are better on this record. But open to debate. So
Right. Sure. All right, let's go a little deeper. If Bowen's journey is about chasing one last shot at glory, do you believe redemption is real or just a story we tell ourselves before the final encore?
cool. Nicely put. I think the main character Bowen is a reflection of elements of myself. So, you know, being in the music for so long, and only having achieved a certain level of success, it's like you can't help but feel that, you are a little bit washed up, I'm in my 40s now, so it's like, okay, probably I should have quit 10 years ago, at
But
least
this
that's
stuff
what,
gets in your DNA though, right? I mean, I'm older than you and still doing this shit too with, a moderate amount
yeah,
of success, but it's in
totally.
your veins.
It's hard to let it go, right? So, I think that yeah, those elements of my character were reflected in Bowen, the main character in the musical, where it's like, okay, he's kind of like this, biker, washed up dude, but he hasn't given up yet, right? And then he has this chance to kind of go on this maybe one last adventure, and so he takes it. And like, I don't know, I kind of feel that way too, that like, if there's adventure to be had, then I want in, right? Like I'm not done
Right.
yet.
And I don't think giving up is, and you may disagree with me. I don't think giving up
Mm,
is an option, right? This is just me. So, I mean, and in our genre as well, the
mm.
Godfathers are close to 80 now. How old is Halford and Simmons and all those guys? I mean, they're still doing it. So why can't we all?
So inspiring. I mean, yeah, I'm sure none of those guys thought they were going to be doing that
And at
like
the top
this
of their game.
now. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, whenever I see those legends up there still, it's like wow, it's really inspiring because it makes you think, well, yeah, like you said, why not? If someone can do it, anyone can do it, right? So,
Right.
and especially in metal, they're very forgiving about like there's no like age, kind of stuff like that. Like people don't care. They care about the music, right?
So in a world of rival gangs and broken dreams, is music the thing that saves us or just the thing that makes the fall louder?
I guess it's more of like just the soundtrack to the adventure, right? So,
I like that.
um, I mean, it's interesting because in the story, everyone's kind of like singing songs and stuff like that, but I guess they don't know that they're singing, right?
Right.
Like they're just like maybe in their world they're just like speaking, but in the form of the musical it's presented in song. So yeah, I think it's just yeah, the soundtrack to their world.
Are you planning on taking this out on the road?
Yeah, actually we're hitting the road next week here in Canada, and we're going out with Burning Witches from Switzerland.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're on a US tour right now, and then they're popping up to Canada for run of dates here. So we're gonna do all those with them. Very stoked about that, and we've lined it up. It's right after our album release, so we're stoked. We're gonna play a lot of the new tunes, and we're gonna have the new record, on vinyl and CD and everything. So get those out there. We're very stoked.
How much of that stage show are you able to take out on the club route? Not that much.
Man, I wish I could do more, but yeah, we're playing clubs, right? And when you're going on the road, man, it's all about having less people is easier, right? So one element that I really wanted because we're gonna play Cape Breton home is to have like the live fiddle player. And so what I've resorted to is I've been, seeking out local fiddle players in each of the cities that can join us on the stage so that we don't have to take an extra body on the road. We can just call them up and be like, okay, we're going to bring up so and so from,
Right.
your local scene. They're going to come up and do Cape Breton Home with us. But that's pretty much the extent of it. I would love to do like have some of the actors come up with us and, maybe recite a couple lines of dialogue and then like we're going in and they're all singing the choruses. But yeah, I think that's for further down the road.
So one last thing, I want to go back to storytelling about this record because you just kind of reminded me. But when you were writing this, so was it like a short story first that you just adapted to the lyrics because they flow, right? And then sequencing would be an issue if they didn't.
Yeah, it's like I kind of had to, plot out each song and be like, okay, what is each song about? And then like, can I make a story out of this? Which is a little bit like, backwards way of doing it, but I had seen a couple other musicals, like I saw the Jukebox Hero musical, which is the Foreigner one,
Yeah.
a few years ago, and it made me think like there was no story there. They just took a bunch of Foreigner hits and like made a story out of it. And there was an Alanis Morissette one who also did that too, Jagged Little Pill. And I was like, well, there's no reason why I can't do that also, So I just found some common elements in the songs, and then I was like, okay, develop some kind of storyline, and then I started developing the characters and the script and so forth from there. So it's not perfect and it needs work. I think we got really good reviews of the musical,
Right.
but the main criticism was that the story could have been improved. So
Were
it
you
was
guys
my first
playing
shot
live
at
on
it.
stage?
Pardon me?
Were you guys playing live on stage during the whole thing?
Yeah, during the musical, so we've got the live band and the cast is out there singing and acting. Yeah.
I saw Swallow the Sun do this thing, I don't know, back on 70,000 Tons of Metal a couple of years ago, where they brought the Finnish ballet with them and they kind of sat in the back with the lights dim and played their newest record, all choreographed with the Finnish National Ballet. And it was, I mean, goosebumps.
That's
Crazy how that
insane.
stuff
Wow.
moves.
Yeah, yeah. That's probably like that's not very done very often, I don't think, Like
No, but I think when you mix those, the elements of the taking it, not just theatrics on stage, but making it an actual musical and
mm,
adding the heaviness to it, I think they work.
that's so cool. Yeah.
It's very similar to what you're doing. It's you had the stage in mind and it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So what's next for you guys? You have a release show?
Yeah, we're gonna do so when we hit Toronto on this little tour of ours, we're gonna make that our kind of album release party. So that's gonna be on next Thursday, April 24th. So yeah, that should be good. Nice homecoming show. And yeah.
And if fans want to find you guys, can you give us all your socials and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I think the most active one is probably the Instagram, so just check us out on there. We're actually having so the record's coming out on Friday, but we're actually having a listening party on Bandcamp today at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And that's like 11 p.m. in Europe. But if you're interested in that, you can just go our stories. The link is on there. It's free. You can hear the record before it comes out, and I'll be on the chat. We can whatever answer questions or just hang. So yeah.
All right. That brings me to the end of my questions. Did I miss anything you wanted to cover?
No, that's awesome, man. Thanks a lot, Bruce. It
Yeah, I
was
hope
very
that wasn't
cool.
too bad.
Mhm.
I like to
No, no,
talk. So
always a pleasure.
awesome. Good luck with the record. And
Thanks,
I know
dude.
the States are going to be tough, but hopefully we get to see you somewhere down here.
I hope so too, man.
All right. Be
All
well.
right, see ya.
Cheers.